we're back. What's up, everybody? Carolina Keith, regular Keith. 1 second, please. Hold on a second, this guy's. All right, sorry. Free advice. This is why you shouldn't give free advice, people. It doesn't ever get you. It doesn't ever get you anything but more problems. Good to see everybody. Carolina Keith, regular Keith, Professor Keith. Just Keith's fine with me. Man, what a day. What a day. Yeah. So, hopefully we can hit the charts here and I'll look at some data together. Gosh, I hate giving free advice. Oh, I should have just said no and not talked about it. Now it's going to be nonstop phone blow up for the next month and a half. Watch. This is what you get. Anyway, we want to look at some charts here. We'll go over Bitcoin. We'll go over gold. We'll go over XRP like we do every single live stream because it's the #1 requested thing. If anybody else has got any other requests, feel free to drop them in the chat, whether you're watching over on YouTube, whether you're watching over on X, whether you're watching over on Rumble. Welcome to Charts After Dark. Do me a solid. Go hit the like button. It's free. Costs absolutely nothing. While you're there, make sure you stop, hit the subscribe bell, and hit the notification button so you don't miss anything. And we get this stuff pushed out more to people that are all around the world who don't get to see what we do. We do simple data analytics for simple everyday people. Nothing super complicated. And if it is a bit complicated, I'll take the time to try to break it down the best way I can. Now, with all that crap moved out of the way, what's up, Brad Williams? Good to see you. What's up, Jason? Good to see you, brother. Shout out to the people watching over on X. Can't see you over there, but I see you. What's up, people over on Rumble? I like Rumble. You can say whatever you want on Rumble. There's really no rules. It's Carolina Keith _1 over on Rumble. Carolina Keith _1 over on X. TA with Keith Lay right here on YouTube because I can't use Carolina Keith _1 on YouTube. They won't let me. Anyway, let's start here. I want to record this, but then again, it'll be like a really long clip if I do. So fuck it, I'm not recording it. I'll just talk it out. Yep. So I've got the same Bitcoin chart that you've seen me share multiple times here on the live stream. Last Thursday, when we were on the live stream here, we were on this candle that was in the wait a minute zone, thinking about breaking loose. You know, the good news was it was over top of the 100 moving average and the 50, and it was in the wait a minute zone, thinking about going, wasn't quite there yet. Well, over the weekend, what do? Made a move up Friday. Saturday and Sunday, we were relatively flat. It cleared out any CME gaps that it may have had prior to the weekend starting, and it proceeded to go on up to that very same 200 moving average level that I warned you about before. I said, hey man, this thing's set and primed. If it wants to make a move here, this is the area I see it going to, which was the exact spot on the chart that I've got marked. If you don't believe me, please go back and watch the last live stream. I don't delete any crypto things. None. Zero. I don't delete them. I refuse to. I leave everything up there. So even if I'm wrong, everyone gets to see it. And everyone can then call me out and say, yep, you were wrong right there, Keith. Right? I want everybody to be able to see when I say something that I shouldn't, so I can be called out for it, so I can get better. I am not the guy who's going to go on there and find the one thing that I was right about and the 17 things I was wrong about and only talk about the one that I was right about. Not going to do it. I watched so much of that crap happen over the last several years of this. And the new thing that I see right now is everybody's super amazing, awesome, heavy bullish now. Oh my God, bull market's back on. Here we go. Pump the brakes, and I'll show you why. All right. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to listen to what I say. Please take these charts for what you will and go do it yourself and see if you come up with a similar answer or a different answer, and then share it with me if you have a different answer. I'm all ears. I'm not the guy who's going to sit here and knock you down for doing it your way. I want to see what you got, then we can compare and contrast. It's much different than the way most of your quote unquote influencers are going to do it. Going to be straight with you. Going to try to keep it real. I'll try to hear you out. I'm not the guy that's going to try to just push you down every time you say something. I hate those dudes. It sucks, and I hate having to be that way sometimes, or sometimes people just come at you, man. And that's happened recently. So anyway, We've aimed for that level. What level am I speaking of? That's the 200 moving average. And why do I have that red box drawn right there? What does that red box mean? Well, on a short term, from our previous high, short-term previous high, which was right here, the middle of March, March 16th. And then we had a low. And again, I talked about this on the live stream. I said, hey, look, the good news here is higher lows. Yeah, I said that on the live stream. Were you listening? If you weren't, well, you should listen a little closer. Taking that high and pulling down to the low, sliding across, we got plenty of room to be able to see. We have a breakout here from the previous high to the higher low, and then we broke loose. We went through Sniper's Alley. We went through the 1 fib, and we are working our way up through the take profit fibs now. 1272, we went right on through it after bumping our head on it a few times. See that? 1, 2, 3. 3 hits on that before it finally pushed through. Now we're up to the 1414 fib, and these are all take profit Fibonacci retracement lines. And these are on a lower time frame, so obviously take it for what you will, right? These are on the daily on a very, very compressed timeline. If we zoom way out, you'll see in a minute when I'm going to show you, you're not there yet, right? But they're all 3 take profit lines. Now, I wanted to play it safe on this one. I took profits down here at the 1272. I've already played this game in the bear market before where you try to get as much as you can and try to be the guy who tries to say, oh, I got the perfect trade. I played that game before. I'm not doing it, right? I got in down here and I sold up here and I'm good with it. That's good enough for me. I got my money. I'm happy with it. I don't want to play the game of trying to get in the perfect spot. The reason that is because it's still crypto and it's still super volatile and this stuff can still spin on the drop of a dime. So the 1618 is the top of my box here, which was also in line with that 200 moving average like I explained before. That's the red box. That's why I drew it there. Now, I'm going to delete these fibs, scroll back a little bit here to the weekly. We can see what I've kind of got drawn out. On the log mode, I'm in log mode, which is right down here in the lower right-hand corner. My voice is acting up. Sorry, hang on. Get all that cum out of my throat.
Damn.
I know. I joke at myself. It's fine. Most people won't do that, right? I'll tell jokes about myself all day. I'm just in a dumb simp. And, it's another thing that I do on here, right? Just keep it free and honest, dude. You don't got to act like you're better than everybody because I'm not. I'm just a dude. So I'll make jokes and act silly and be stupid. You know, it is what it is. Anyway, back to what I was doing. Just a dumb guy. Log mode. This is TradingView that we're using. If you don't know what TradingView is, it's a free app. Don't have TradingView. I will put the link right here in, where's my referral thingy? Refer a friend. Copy. And right there in the YouTube chat, in the Rumble chat, and in the X chat is a link for TradingView. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. If you do decide to pay for it, use my referral link and I get like $3 or something. Anyway, TradingView is the app. It's the best place to do this. It's got the best interface, the smoothest usage. The UI is rarely glitchy. When it is, they fix it pretty quick. There's tons of indicators, tons of data. There are some other apps out there, and I've tried a lot of them. CoinTrader works. That's my backup. But I like this one the best. Anyway, I'm in log mode. The 236 fib that we see right here is a weekly high time frame downtrend fib that we have now temporarily jumped back over. This happens from time to time. You can go back here and look how contentious this line's been, and it hasn't been super contentious. So it kind of makes sense that this thing's playing around with this line as it is. You hit it back here early April, right? You bounced off of it, rolled back up, and this is when we're still on the way up. So you really couldn't pull these fibs like this then. I'm more so speaking on the respect that it's showing this fib here. We never even touched the 382 fib down here yet at 56,000. You came up short of it. I'll be honest here, that's a bad sign. Why? Well, you didn't come down and fully get a good test of it before you went right back over your last line that you broke through. Typically, when you break through a line like this, you go down to the next one, at least give it a test. Furthermore, if we zoom out and get the big, 100-foot view of this thing, this is where the bull run started at the end of November 2022, beginning of 2023, which we have not gotten to in the cycle that I'll talk about in a minute that people say is dead. Really embarrassing for those people that come out here and do this, especially some of them after talking to me. I won't call them out by name. I'll let you figure out who I'm talking about. But you can go back and watch the podcasts of me explaining this and saying exactly what was going to happen and them still not listening to me. It's crazy. I can't force people to listen. I know they don't like me. It's not got to be personal. So many emotions, dude. It's the women in everybody. Can't get out of their own emotions. Anyway, zooming out right back here. Here's where the bull run started. Here's where the bull run stopped. That's why I pulled the fibs like I did, right? From the bottom to the top. Typically, you get at least a 382 retrace. We haven't gotten that. In every other bull run, we've gotten well more than that. All the way back to 2020. And I'll even go before then and pull it back here to bottom 2018. Pulling to the top right here. All the way down to the 50 fib. Very close to the 50 fib. Through the 382, bounced around with it for a while. Now we step it back another level. All the way back to 2015. Yeah. 2015 to the top. Even 2015, you got a perfect 382 hit. Point being here, this almost always gets hit. And we came up short, haven't hit it yet. That being said, how about we look at this from a bigger scale on linear mode? Because log mode doesn't work, right? Fine. Here's linear mode. Linear mode, you're almost always going to get a golden pocket hit, which is the 618 to 71 level fib lines. Here they are down here. And again, you came up short and you didn't hit them. Now you hit the orange box that I drew right there, but that box is just an old support box. It did tag at one time and immediately bounced back. I'm not sure I believe that that's enough. We have to get through all this resistance right here and keep on chugging without missing a step for this run to keep going. It's got to go all the way back up to 94,000 and close above 94,000 to make a higher term new high. That's your last high. Here's where you currently are on the weekly chart. You got to get all the way up to $94,500 just to make a new high, and then you have to maintain it. Again, it seems a little bit unrealistic to me. Now, I'm going to move these fibs here, and I'll pull up our basic cycle indicator here, kind of show us what's been going on. Looking back in history, we can go all the way back if you want. We can pull up an even older chart, which I'll do now. Pull up the old one. There we go. This is the very old Bitcoin chart. It goes all the way back to the very beginning, all the way back to 2009 when it first was released and started trading. Right? Every bit of Bitcoin data you could possibly have here. Right? I'm on a weekly chart. You can see that pretty much you have your halving, you have your run up, and your slow down. You're halving, you run up, you slow down. You're halving, you run up, you slow down. The green bars represent the places where you should start thinking about taking profits. The dots here represent where you should start DCAing on the way back up. Typically, it's about 135 weeks post-halving, 135 weeks post-halving, 135 weeks post-halving. Look how well it's hitting the bottom on every single one of these. You mean to tell me that now is just quote-unquote different? You don't really have a reason why it's different. You give me some subjective, oh, it's because of institutions. Oh, it's because of banks. Come on. Be real with me here. Do you have any real proof aside from what you feel like to say, yeah, okay, definitely right here. Missed it. We're definitely going higher. No, you don't have that. We've seen these conditions before where it's went oversold and then jogged sideways, only to then go a little bit more oversold before bouncing, creating its new low. I will give it to you. It did go oversold, and we talked about this on stream multiple times about how when it went oversold, that very well could have been the bottom. It's also noteworthy that when this thing goes oversold, it tends to drag its feet. On weekly, we are on the weekly, and here you are. Add in more information. Like, we haven't even gotten close to the 135 weeks yet. Not even close. That is going to come in until, well, let's do the math on it, right? 135 weeks is about 665 days. So from having, oh, that's from the profit start line. Let's do having 945 days. So let's do 945 days over here. 945 days is November 2026. Coincidentally, that's exactly what I drew right here. Rebuy this vertical line here after the bull run is over, late 2026. Right there is my vertical line where I mark this thing as this is where I will rebuy. There you go. Is there anything wrong with trying to take a trade and get some profits? No, there's nothing wrong with that. But does that mean that the bull run's back on and, oh my God, we're going to go way higher? No, it does not. In fact, it's super risky to go out and say silly things like that. Let's look for some more evidence here. Here's your Ichimoku cloud on the weekly. Typically, when you fail the Ichimoku cloud on the weekly, it takes a long time to get back over it. Want some more evidence? There you go. Right? And here we are now. Failed the Ichimoku cloud. While you are over the conversion line, you're still under the baseline. The cloud is still red. The lag line is still under the candles. Sorry, but that is a 4 out of 4. And even if you do go up, all you're going to do is run into the bottom of the cloud and get rejected. That sucks. It's not good enough yet. All right. How about moving averages? Here's your weekly moving averages. You still got the 100 and the 50 moving average in the way of the price, even with your 821 EMA coming up. Got to be careful here because the trend is your friend. And while, yes, we have short-term broken this trend, right? Trend lines aren't everything. We still have lower highs. Okay? I have to be realistic about it and realize that there's still lower highs. And it can come all the way up to 90,000, 92,000-ish and still make another lower high. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying it's a distinct possibility that people get their ass burned here. Here's your pivot points. Again, pivot point all the way up here at 96,000. Even if you make a run up, you've got to get through the hardcore level. And I don't see this thing just blowing through this. It doesn't make good common sense. One more thing back on daily. Look what we got here. Here's our daily RSI, relative strength index. As you see, we are approaching overbought. What has happened every single time this thing has went overbought in the year 2025 and later? Overbought, down you go. Overbought, down you go. Overbought, down you go. Wow. Overbought, super down you go. Looking back a little farther than that. Overbought. Ooh, we double topped overbought and then went straight to oversold afterwards. Overbought. Head and shoulders overbought all the way to oversold. Overbought. Double overbought. Worked its way down one more time and then almost overbought before it went up again. This is dead smack in the middle of the bull run. That's the difference in this move. What do you got here? A very slow, smooth move up to the RSI. While that's good for price action and easier to trade, it also creates the moment where all the shields jump in and tell you that the new bull run is on and we're running off the new highs. I'm sorry, but I'm not falling for this. I've seen this happen again. Appreciate it, Prince. Appreciate it, brother. We've seen this happen before. I'm not falling for it yet. I need broken resistance to happen. I need you to crack through multiple levels. I need you to get over, not only be overbought, but maintain it. And that's super difficult to do. How about Bitcoin CME? So there was only one CME gap left here. And that was from late January when it threw this very, very spooky candle that it threw over here. Do you see that? Made a huge gap. And the candle closed all the way up here at 84,000 flat-ish. So I went ahead and drew this green box representing the CME gap. That was after I had already drawn these resistance lines on the charts right here. So that's our top resistance line, where it's going to be difficult for the price to push through all these old candles. And our lower resistance line is what I was talking about earlier, where I don't see this thing just pushing up through. More resistance right here. It's actually heavier resistance than this level, right? So the lower resistance is down here, and then it has a whole nother level to get through up there in the event that it actually does close above the high. And this high on CME is all the way up at 96,000, right? That sucks. Now, I will say this. The indicators are slightly different over here on CME, and the 200 moving average is higher, up at 93,500. That's because this thing doesn't trade on the weekends, and we know Bitcoin actually does trade on the weekends. Flipping it out to weekly, and you're going to see not much of a difference. Moving averages kind of line up with those resistance lines and floating in between. Kind of lines up with the CME gap. I appreciate the sentiment, fellas. I like the fact that everybody's trying to rebuild the bull sentiment. And this is kind of what we needed after seeing, if you were to go to like Google Trends and look, the trends were really, really bad. The trends were really, really bad. If you looked up anything to do with crypto or Bitcoin, they were all way down, right? And X has a new feature that allows you to block people who talk about crypto, talk about whatever you don't like. You can just block them and not even have to block them. You can just hide it now. Well, people are going to hide it and then forget about it. I can't do anything about that. So sentiment took a big punch in the face, and it hasn't ever fully recovered, was the point. All that to say, while I appreciate that the price action has come up, and I'm happy to see some people making some gains back, you're getting your opportunity now, folks, to get your profits if you didn't get them before. Now's your shot. If you're not going to take them, that's on you. Don't blame me. I warned you. Okay? Now, I'm going to go over to gold, and then we'll do a couple more, okay? Here's our gold chart. Oh, remember what Keith said? This is probably going to continue to consolidate because it's gotten a really, really hella long run, and it can't last forever doing that, and eventually everything slows down, and hey, guess what? The consolidation keeps on going. We slowed down over the end of the week. We've started to come back here on the beginning of the week, but I told you this was going to happen. I said this thing's likely to try to take a stab at these moving averages up here. 50 moving average and the 100 moving average are right up above the price and are not going to fall easy. Then I said, even if it gets through that, it's got to deal with the trend line. On the other side of that, another roadblock to success. This is going to take a while to pan out. Now, unrelated and kind of related, but not really, I saw a couple different people, news outlets reporting that if there was a recession, that the government would likely, and the Fed, would likely cut the rates down to 1%. That would be a fiscal shifting moment that would change everything. If the government cuts interest rates all the way down to 1%, throw most of what you know out the water, everything is going up. And the reason that happens is you're just incentivizing people to borrow money at a very low interest rate. If they cut rates down to 1%, I will borrow money and go buy. What will I buy? Whatever. It doesn't even really matter. Everything's going to go up in price if you give out free money, right? Give out free money, people are going to take said money and buy things. The more things you buy, the more expensive things get. That's supply and demand 101, all right? And when it comes to crypto, you're going to have plenty of people who go, I can get a loan and buy some crypto, which is literally what I just described to you. I can get a government loan. I run a business. I can take my business, get a government loan, take that money, buy with my loan money. The whatever I buy will likely make more money than the interest will cost me over a year. If you give me a 1% interest rate and I borrow $100,000, I'm only going to pay $1,000 worth of interest. If I can just make $1,000 worth of gains. Out of that 100,000, I won. And I'm a nobody, and I figured that out. Imagine the big dogs are going to figure that out. Imagine the guy who's going to take $5,000 and put it down on a double covered, a double leveraged call on semiconductors, or a triple leveraged call on QQQ, right? And take that thing way out of the pocket. So be prepared if that happens. But I don't expect that. Not yet, anyway. That's a recession kind of thing that would spark the economy, but also create a ton more inflation. So you can't really do that kind of shit and think you're going to get away with it all the time. However, I wouldn't put it past the administration or the people running the Fed. Okay? And I don't do politics. It's nothing to do with politics. That's purely fiscal stuff I'm speaking about. That would probably help gold out too. Like I said, anything that can make you value will likely go up in value because that's what happens when you give out free money. So let's keep our eyes peeled. He just got in there on Fed. He just became the Fed chair. I don't think he's going to immediately start dashing rates way down. A quarter point won't do it. You'll need at least a half a point. And if they want to get cute and make it crazy, let them make it crazy. But for now, to me, this is still a bearish back test. Just like Bitcoin making a large bearish back test. This, for me, is nothing to panic on. Now, I will record the XRP clip. So, for XRP, we'll go over time a little bit too here, probably, by the way, whatever. That's some shit I want to get out, right? So, XRP, again, you're still going on the track that I kind of warned you would already go on here. Slow consolidation. It is not a bull run. And because it's not a bull run, you're going to get this thing amongst many, many assets, slowly but surely plodding its way along here, trying to do a little better. It can't just go up. That's not how it works. So everything has to get through resistance. Everything has to get through its zones of pressure. It's going to take a long time for that to happen, especially with XRP falling off as hard as it did. Here's your weekly look, your moving averages, your 821 EMA. You're still in the wait a minute zone here, and it's trying to hold it, but it hasn't quite stayed up to that level good enough yet. And I'll flip it up to monthly. You'll see you're under the 821 EMA. You're still stuck under a fib, or you're still on the 50 fib line right there, but that's about the only good thing it's got going for it. Now, we've seen many other cryptos push through this 100 moving average. I am to assume that XRP will eventually push through this 100 moving average. All right, how far do we go? That's the next question. Well, we can pull some fibs for that and find out. How about we go to a cleaner chart? It's not really cleaner, but I've already got stuff drawn out here, so let's roll with it. I'm going to pull some fibs from the top up here that happened in January to the bottom down here that happened in February. We'll drag it over here. We can see it real well. All right. You could argue that it's already broken out. I would understand that argument. I don't believe it, but it's, I said a second ago, many other altcoins have done this. So I'm to assume this one will too. This gives me targets on the way back up of potential points where we're likely going to hit and potentially could bounce. 50 fib at $1.65. We haven't even gotten to the $1.50 range yet. That's also where the 382 is. So the 382, the 50, and then the golden pockets up here at the 618 level at $1.80. Those are all three fair potential targets. If I pull this trend line on over here, sure that's the right trend line. Keep on going. What you're going to see here is, I'll knock them fibs off because that's the same numbers. It doesn't matter. I've already drawn out low, high, low, high, low, high. And I did this based on all the previous cycles that this thing's made. We're somewhere in this area over here where low one and then high one comes in at. All right. Here's low one and high one, and we're kind of in between them. Hasn't really made its mind up what it wants to do yet. Point is, after this low zero, it usually comes up and then poof, low one comes in and you get ugly. Right here's low zero. You're slowly working your way up here. You haven't made a new high yet, which is exactly my worry. You don't have the volume and the push here to really make a dent in this thing. And as such, when you do make a move, you won't have the juice to really push the limits here. And that causes a ruckus. And when that causes a ruckus, you start another down. That down's going to sting. I've talked about this one before. But let's say it even gets to $1.65. Failing that $1.65 range could push us all the way back down here to $1. I'm not saying that's going to happen necessarily, but as long as we continue to have very low volume and not crack levels, we're stuck. So 130, 150, 180. 130, 150, 180. I know 150 and 180 I said for sure. Hang on a second. Get those numbers right. 150, yeah, 180. What I said a second ago, and I pulled from January to the bottom down here. 165. 150, 165, 180. And all three of those are still just bearish retests. It's a chance, though, for people to get some profits. If you didn't have any, or you wanted to get profits and you couldn't, after that big, huge January drop, you may have a chance to get some of them back. Your call. Do what you want to do. What's up, Kelly? What's up, Miss Kelly? How have you been? Wow, long time no see. Hope you've been good. Things have been rocky, huh? Sorry. We're way down, right? I know, I'm sorry. Is what it is. You gotta take it on the chin and dust yourself off, right? Take your lumps and keep on going. Is what they keep telling me. But man, we've took a bunch of lumps, haven't we? Damn. All right. What else real quick? So we did Bitcoin, gold, XRP. Let's jump through some current top assets, and then we'll be out of here, okay? Look at Apple Go here. So one of the few positions that I've got open is Apple. She continues to try through that really, really nasty wick on Friday, and it had me feeling pretty good, man. Hey, look at that wick. Let's go. Only that it didn't break my heart again and come back down to the top of the range where this thing tried to break out. It is a new high from February. I like that. Let's put a moon in it. All right. So anyway, there's Sniper's Alley where you bounced perfectly today. You see that right there? Right there at the 886 level, that 786, 886 level of Sniper's Alley. You bounced off of that mucho perfecto-y. That's not a word. From there, you're pushing up towards the 1272, the 1414, and the 1618 between 290 and 300, where I target this thing to get to. I think it will get there in time. Maybe not all at once. You know, everybody wants everything to happen all at once, and that's par for the course. It is what it is. Can't stop it, can't control it. Just got to roll with it. But it makes sense. It's a nice round even number. And when I pull fibs out to the farther point, like I just did, 300 lines up with the 1272. So sort of expect it there. Now, this is a long-term position for me, so I intend to keep it open a little longer. May pull some profits out, may not. Didn't DCA it, left it be because I already had a pretty sizable position. How about HODLer, which is what I got told they were called today by another guy I talked to at a different place. Real nice guy, but man. So today, Tesla runs up and does exactly what I talked about. Tested that 200 and 100 moving average where they were about to cross. Look at that gnarly red candle she threw. That's a pretty ugly look. And while it could continue to consolidate and take another stab at it, I would not put it past it to roll back over and take another stab at lows. Here's your weekly. You're still tied up with it at the moment, right? Playing with the 50, playing with the 821. I do plan on DCAing this again. If it takes another really gnarly low stab, I'm going to grab a DCA on it and continue to add to my position. Again, this is a long-term position to me, and I assume that Tesla's going nowhere, and eventually this will get to 600. And as it gets to 600, that'll be where I start taking some profits. But for now, just a DCA and ride it out. NVIDIA, really interesting price action after that very, very abrupt ride up. She has since started to slow down and is now failing the 821. Better hold your breath on that one. Google still running here. After this big breakout and bounce, she come up and tagged the 1414 perfectly. Now these fib lines up here are take profit fib lines, but they are kind of high time frame predictive resistance lines. All right. So as you see, they put up a little bit of a fight here. 389 did exactly that. Can this get to 400? I absolutely think so, because that's between the 1414 and the 1618, a little bit higher. Real quick, S&P 500, same thing, up at the 1414. NASDAQ through the 1414 and almost to the 1618. Log mode at 28617, and linear, she's right there at the 1618. So I think it's got a little bit more left in it for it to get up there, finish it off, and give it a tap before it slows down. Look, man, look how overbought, right? We're smart enough to know this can't last forever. And as such, if the S&P, NAS, and Dow come down, everything is likely to come down with them. So that's my case. I'm sticking to it. Hope everybody understands it's not personal. You guys got to hear me out on this one. Don't believe me, but hear me out. I don't think this is a bull run. I think this is bearish back tests. Recovery is needed, and we are getting some. But recovery is not bull run. Recovery is just liquidating some shorts that got a little too greedy. And we'll talk about the longs and short on the next stream on Thursday. I want to explain it a little bit more in detail. I showed a lot of liquidation charts in the past, and I'll show some more liquidation charts again on Thursday so you can kind of get a grasp of what I'm trying to say there, right? I wouldn't get too cute with all this. Whenever you start seeing the stupidest is the wrong word. Whenever you start seeing the largest mouths being the loudest, it's pretty commonplace to do the opposite of what they do. If you go over and look over on X, Twitter, you go over and look over on Reddit, the loudest people are saying the most stupid stuff right now. So you be the judge on what to do. I appreciate all you coming and hang out, watching. It's awesome of you. Working on 6 years in this. Couldn't expect much more from you guys than what you've done. Thank y'all. We'll be back again Thursday. I'll see y'all guys then. I'm out, man. Sky's the limit. Y'all be good. Peace.